What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that all of you are enjoying your day. This is the Love and Marriage Huntsville recap, episode 14, titled Kaiawa. Although, personally, I added a title. It's giving low vibrational, and that came from Stormy, but we'll get into that later on in the video. So, of course, it opens where the last episode left off. Kimmi and Kaiawa are meeting because Maurice set that up, and he's always sending Kimmi as his parental delegate. But actually, they weren't even discussing Monster so much as they were talking about how Kimmi felt. And she said she really felt slighted and disrespected because she felt like Kaiawa could have done damage control when people were calling her the side chick. And Kaiawa was like, well, I didn't even know that you felt that way, and I really can't control what other people are saying. And, Kimmi's like, well, I mean, they're going back and forth with the same, you know, um, argument or subject matter that they have for I don't know how many seasons. Like Kimmi, you and Maurice have been married. You were together, what, 7 years, I think, before you even got married. So it's like, and people ain't even talking about you being a side chick no more, child. People are asking for you to blink twice if you need help because Maurice is a work piece of work. Okay, so yeah, people have truly moved on. But this was, of course, recorded previously. But Kaiawa, she's just like, okay, well, she's accepted, I feel. And Kimmi already addressed that. Side note, right? She told Maurice before he made the meeting that she wanted to leave the past in the past, and there was no reason to meet with Kaiawa. So again, Kimmi, if you need help, blink twice because there was no reason for y'all to keep rehashing this side chick conversation when you and Maurice have been together, married or not, for the better part of almost a decade. Okay, so moving on to to Stormy and Melody. So they meet up, and Stormy, I guess she feels slighted that Mel, changed her number, didn't give it to Stormy. And Melody, she's like, well, I kind of felt like I needed to keep my distance in order to protect myself from your mother. Because if you guys remember a couple of episodes back when she had that tea, Miss Betty was coming for Melody, okay? And I feel like that's common, right? Melody said, she's like, I just got things squared away or broke things off with Tisha's mom, Miss Wanda. And I feel like maybe that's their generation, like the boomers, the older boomers in the South, that they're raised to be very I don't want to say violent, but I mean like emotionally violent toward younger women, younger Black women. I know that they were raised, especially in the South. It was difficult, right? Because I've lived in the South for a couple years. I'm born and raised in the North, but child, we moved down south, okay? And below that Mason-Dixie line, the racism turns from being covert to a lot more overt. And I feel like, a lot of older Black women feel so disempowered because of all the racism and the policies and the structural inequities that they try to gain power over, the younger women in their lives. Particularly those who are young, pretty successful, they're a direct threat and they go after them. And so I feel like that was what Wanda was doing to Melody, and I feel like that's what Miss Betty was doing to Melody. However, Stormy clarifies and says, well, my mama didn't like my husband. Like, she was like, my mom don't like really anybody until you prove your worth to her. And a lot of times, it's sad that the more I study sociology, particularly in, right, especially in the South, that there is such a, um, the power dynamics are so off. They're so skewed. And I feel like a lot of times, you know, older people have been so mistreated that either they're really extremely kind toward younger people or they're really bitter toward younger people. And it's just, you know, there's there's rarely, from my experience too, right? There's rarely anyone that I meet that's in the middle, neutral. But anyway, so Miss Betty, I guess, is just, she got smoke for everybody. Her sister, Aunt Lisa, she got smoke for Courtney, she got smoke for Mel. So Auntie Bitter is Auntie Bitter. Oops, Miss Betty. Oops, is she does not seem like a happy woman. Okay, but they said that, they were going to try moving forward to hopefully mend their relationship, and I really hope that they do. It would be unfortunate if Stormy allowed her mother to stop her progress with her friends and, other relationships. Now, speaking of mamas, we meet Courtney's mama, right? Who was gorgeous and kind and supportive. And, she said that she's talking with Courtney about him growing up without a father. And when I say them, I mean Courtney and Stormy, talking about them having another child, because the pregnancy was extremely difficult on Stormy. She almost died, passed away. And he's really scared. And he doesn't even want to hear anything about a surrogate. And so his mom's like, well, do you think that's because your father wasn't around? And he really breaks down and starts crying. And my heart really goes out to him. His mom is even trying to comfort him. She's like, I understand what it's like to grow up without a father. And she hugs him and she's really supportive. And I hope that maybe they can get into some therapy and unpack all of that, because growing up without a father is an extremely painful experience. And the fact that, he's married and, he's a father, but he still broke down in tears and cried in his mother's arms, you can tell how much it affected him. But she tells him, don't dismiss Stormy's claims to wanting another child, even through, surrogacy, because of your own past childhood trauma and wounds. So then they get to the expo, and even before they get up there, Tisha has on a very form-fitting denim outfit, which Martell's like, I see somebody's been working out, and he's commenting on her body. Martell is just a habitual line stepper, okay? He's like, not you, Marsau. I'm talking about your wife. Like, come on, that was inappropriate. But that's Martell. So then they go over and, they see Stormy setting up, and she has a really big vendor booth, right? A couch and everything. And they're, talking about, her taking up spaces for potential other vendors. But Marsau comes in late and he's like, what's this? How much those balloons cost? And you need to do this, you need to do that. Just coming in, bossing everybody around, not doing the work as usual per narcissist, right? That's what a narcissist does. They don't do anything. They don't do any of the heavy lifting, but they criticize and critique everything. So he leans over to Tisha. He's like, did Stormy pay for her spot? Now, mind you, when they first started talking about the Blaque Expo, they were supposed to pay their vendors, not the other way around, but that's Marsau. Tisha's like, no. He's like, well, you need to go ask her for the money. And Tisha's like, that's tacky. Why would I do that? I'm not doing that. You do it. He goes over there trying to butter her up. Hey, you look shorter and you look younger. And then he's like, you got the $100? Stormy's like, what $100? He's like, the $100 for the vendor for your booth. And she's like, see, that's giving, it's low vibrational. It's giving very low vibrational. She was like, you ain't about to just ask me for no $100 the day of. And so she's like, see, I learned my lesson. I will not do any business in the future with Marsau and Tisha. She's like, this is how y'all do business? Child. So, and that's where the scene lets off. So they're going to pick that up next week. And, I'll bring you another recap, but drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Is it giving low vibrational? I agree with Stormy because, yeah, like if you're going to ask for money, you need to do so upfront, not the day of. It was tacky and it was supposed to be there, to support their event. It was the first year and people were excited about it, but you don't ask people for money the day of. He kept pressing that $100, and it's like, if you couldn't afford to do it, then you shouldn't have done it and just saved your pennies. But anyway, y'all drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear from you. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk with you later. Take care, Aces. Bye.